Night settled over the desert like a great breathing creature, its winds carrying whispers older than any tribe. In a long tent stitched with ancestral symbols, a young mother labored beneath the glow of flickering oil lamps. Her cries braided with the storm outside, and the sky answered with low rolling thunder. When her first child arrived, the midwives gasped. The infant's tiny fist was balled as though clutching the air with ancient determination. But before they could swaddle him, a second child emerged, this one gripping the heel of the first, as if refusing to be left behind. A wandering prophet drawn by the storm stood at the entrance of the tent. His voice moved like gravel stirred by wind. Two nations, he said, eyes distant. Two destinies. One brother will rise, one will bow, but both will bleed for the crown.
The father, a proud tribal leader, felt a chill crawl along his spine. He named the firstborn Eldrick, broad-shouldered even as an infant. And the second he named Jasek, whose watchful eyes seemed older than minutes lived. From childhood, their path was already splitting beneath their feet. As the boys grew, the father poured his strength into Eldrick. He taught him how to track gazelles across the dunes, how to lead men, how to cut decisions from stone. Eldrick's voice deepened early, and his presence drew respect like iron to a magnet. Jasek watched quietly from the edges of training circles. Though slenderer, he carried a spark, quick, observant, hungry. When his father dismissed him from warrior lessons, he wandered into the tents of storytellers and wise men, collecting words like weapons. And always, in the corners of their home, the mother watched the prophecy shaping itself like a sandstorm gathering form.
When the twins turned 17, a tribal ceremony was held, one meant to introduce the next generation of leaders. Eldrick stepped forward to recite the lineage of the ancestors. His voice was bold, unwavering. Jasek's turn followed. He stepped into the center, cloak fluttering in the warm wind, and spoke with fierce eloquence, his every word woven with passion he had long kept hidden. The crowd murmured in surprise. Eldrick's jaw tightened. A spark caught between them, too small to call fire, too hot to ignore. That night, their mother prayed over them, her hands trembling. She feared the prophecy was beginning to move. A month later, Jasek sought out the wandering prophets by the rocky ridge. "Tell me," he begged, breath clipped with yearning, "what does the future hold for me?" The old man studied him with eyes like torch embers. He murmured, "Ambition burns bright in you, but fire consumes. If you take what is not yours, your heart will carry the cost." But Jasek's mind was already racing towards the throne he felt slipping away. One dusk, Eldrick returned from a grueling hunt. Dust kicking his skin, hunger dulling his thoughts. Jaseka stirred a pot of fragrant stew over the fire, the air thick with temptation. "Give me some," Eldrick demanded, leaning heavily on his spear. Jaseka lifted the ladle slowly. "Trade me your birthright." Eldrick blinked, taken off guard. But hunger blurred pride, and he shrugged. What good is a birthright to a starving man? "Fine, take it." And with that careless tread, something ancient shifted in the sand beneath them. Their mother overheard tribal elders planning a ceremony to officially bless Eldrick as heir. Heart pounding, she took Jasek aside. "The prophecy," she whispered, "has more lines than your father knows. The younger will lead, the older will follow, but not willingly." Her eyes glimmered with the weight of generations. Jasek swallowed. Destiny no longer felt distant. His breath was warm against his neck. The night their father intended to give his final blessing, his eyesight nearly gone, Jasek saw his chance. His mother wrapped his arms in good fur to mimic Eldrick's rougher skin. She draped him in his brother's cloak and combed his hair to match the older twin's scent. Under dim lamplight, Jasek entered the father's tent. "Father," he said, keeping his voice low. The father reached out, trembling fingers brushing the fur. "Eldrick, you are ready. As blessings of leadership poured like warm oil over Jasek's bowed head, he felt two emotions collide: victory and fear. When Eldrick arrived moments later, carrying fresh meat for the celebration, the truth erupted like a snapped bowstring. The father, grief-stricken and furious with himself, could not take back the blessing. Eldrick's roar burst from the tent, scattering goats. "He stole my future. When father dies, I will end him." Jasek fled into the desert before dawn.
Exile carved Jasek into something harder. He wandered through burning days and freezing nights, wrestling with his guilt, clutching his ambition like a shield. One night, he dreamt of a staircase of light stretching into the heavens. Voices whispered promises of a vast nation born from him. He awoke trembling, hope and dread coiling together like twin snakes. In a far settlement, Jasek found refuge with a powerful chieftain named Laban. There he met Mira, the chieftain's radiant daughter, whose laughter felt like cool water in a parched throat. But he also met her older sister Liza, quiet, sharp-eyed, carrying her own storms.
Jasek walked 7 years to earn Mira's hand, but on the wedding night, beneath layers of veils, he discovered Liza instead. Deception had circled back. Heartbroken but determined, he bargained for Mira and walked 7 more years. The household swelled with tension, 2 sisters bound to one man, and a father whose cunning never rested. But Jasek prospered. His flocks multiplied, his influence grew, and Laban's envy sharpened. Sensing danger, Jasek gathered his wives, children, and servants and escaped under a moon so bright it turned the desert silver. By sunrise, Laban thundered after them. A standoff erupted in the valley, a storm of accusations and wounded pride. But the women stepped between them and a fragile peace settled. Jasek breathed for the first time in months. Years later, he felt a pull toward home, toward the brother he had wronged. As he traveled, scouts returned with grim news. "Eldrick is coming with 400 men." Jasek's throat tightened. He prepared gifts, herds, and servants, waves of peace offerings marching ahead like trembling prayers. That night, while the camp slept, a mysterious figure appeared, neither shadow nor flesh. It wrestled Jasek with impossible strength. They grappled through dust, pain cracking through bone and breath until dawn bled across the sky. "Bless me," Jasek gasped. The being touched his hip, wrenching it from its socket like a door ripped from hinges. "You will not be known as Jasek. You have contended with men and with God." When the figure vanished, Jasek stood shaking, limping, changed. Morning broke gold across the river as Eldrick approached. Dust rose behind him like a small storm of warriors. Jasek bowed low, trembling. Silence stretched. The world held its breath. Then Eldrick ran forward and threw his arms around his brother. They wept so hard, the river itself seemed to shimmer with their grief. Destiny softened. Forgiveness cut deeper than war. The brothers parted in peace, but the prophecy lived on, its roots spreading through centuries. They themselves would never wear crowns, but their descendants would become nations, some allied, some divided, all shaped by the choices of 2 boys born holding on to the same moment. And in the quiet desert, the wind still carried the old prophet's words, reminding the sands, 2 nations, 2 destinies, and a legacy no crown could hold.